Have you ever encountered something you just can't explain? Something that thinking about it sends chills down your spine. There are things in this world that are hard to believe until you've encountered them yourself, bringing you to the question, what was that?
911, what's your emergency?
I just seen a UFO above my house.
There is a large creature chasing me. It's getting closer.
There's some kind of large creature standing outside. It's coming towards me.
You're not going to believe this, but I swear there is a werewolf in my backyard.
There is something that looked like a bear that killed my dog.
There is a kid that looks hurt and alone, but I can't see his eyes.
There's a baby crying in the woods.
Something just attacked me.
What was that?
How would you feel if you walked past your basement door and heard talking coming from down there?
But nobody goes down there. And everyone is in the living room watching a movie.
What would you do? What would be your reaction? Hi there. Thanks for tuning into the What Was That podcast. I'm Robert.
And I'm Jacob. And we're just two guys that are really into the scary, unexplained things of the world.
So we share our stories, personal stories, sent by you, our listeners, as well as stories that are already out there that you actually may not know of.
This is the best place for you to share your stories, your personal stories, and also to get that eerie, creepy, spine-shivering feeling that we all know and love from horror movies, horror, scary podcasts, anything.
Absolutely. So today we're going to be going over a few things. We're going to be telling you a submission that was sent to us by one of our listeners. It's about some odd noises / voices coming from the basement. A few short facts about some hauntings back in the 1800s, and as well as a segment telling you the story of the Myrtles Plantation.
So, starting with the Myrtles Plantation, it's based in St. Francisville, Louisiana. And basically, if you've ever driven down those winding back roads, you'll notice the way the Spanish moss drapes over the trees like curtains of another time. The air there feels thick, and the past feels close. Nestled among those oaks is a grand, white-columned home that has stood for over 2 centuries. The house is known as the Myrtles Plantation and is widely considered one of the most haunted homes in America.
So the Myrtles was built in 1796 by General David Bradford, a man who was on the run for his role in the Whiskey Rebellion. The house itself is beautiful, classic Southern architecture, wraparound verandas, tall windows that catch the light, but beauty can hide the dark truths. Over the years, countless stories have spread about murders, mysterious deaths, and the ghosts that never seem to leave.
One of the most famous legends considered or centers around a woman named Chloe. Chloe was enslaved at the plantation in the early 1800s. According to the legend, Chloe lived in fear of being sent to the fields. So she tried to stay useful inside the house. One day, she was caught eavesdropping on the owner's conversation. As punishment, her ear was cut off. From then on, she couldn't hear, and she was said to have worn a green turban to hide the scar.
So now, Chloe's story takes a dark turn. Desperate to regain favor, she baked a cake for the family, but she laced it with just enough olander, a toxic plant. To make them sick, she wanted to nurse them back to health to prove her worth. but the plan went horribly wrong. The cake poisoned the mistress of the house and her 2 daughters. They died within hours. When the truth came out, Chloe was hanged by the other enslaved people who feared brutal punishment from the owners. Her body was supposedly thrown into the Mississippi River.
So just to pause there, I have a question. If she was hanged, but she was missing one of her ears,
Mm-hmm.
she could have slipped out.
It's true. Stupid. Got those grippers on her side of her head.
I mean, I know most of it's down here, but it gives you a little bit more. Anyway. So.
That's a weird punishment, though. Just getting your
Right.
ear cut off.
Yeah.
But it's not funny.
I don't know how I feel about that. Might work out.
What if she was deaf in the other ear?
I mean, technically you still have your eardrum, but I don't know. I feel like part of this whole anatomy probably has something to do with the acoustics too. The sound catching
Right.
and the filtration of, I don't know. I don't know how ears work.
Any hoozle.
That was a long part on ears. So that's the story that's been passed down for generations. Historians debate how much of it is true, but visitors and workers at the Myrtles swear Chloe never left. Countless people have reported seeing a woman in a green turban wandering the grounds. There's even a famous photograph from the 1990s showing what appears to be a shadowy figure, just like Chloe, standing between two of the plantation's buildings.
But Chloe is not the only ghost said to walk the Myrtles. The house itself supposedly built on top of a Native American burial ground, which some believe cursed the land long before the plantation was constructed. And then there was the murder of William Winter. So Winter was an attorney who lived in the house during the late 1800s. On a cold January evening in 1871, a stranger rode up on horseback, called to him the door. When Winter stepped outside, he was shot. Somehow he staggered back inside and began climbing the staircase. He made it to the 17th step before collapsing and dying in front of his wife and children.
That's depressing.
That's why I don't answer the door.
It doesn't really seem like back then it was a normal thing. Like people would just come to your door,
Yeah.
knock. Oh, hey, how you doing? You want to buy this vacuum cleaner?
Yep.
Or this cleaning product?
Yep.
Anything. But
Well, nowadays, like back then, you were more. Well, that like back in like the early 2000s or whatever, but like back in like this era, the 1800s, people just like this go up to your house, bam, you're dead.
yeah,
Now you come up walking. Now in today's world, it's kind of opposite.
right.
So stranger walks up on your porch, knocks on the door. You're the one holding the gun when you open the door.
Yep. Yeah. And at that, like even horror movies nowadays, like it's like number one rule in a horror movie: don't answer your door.
Yeah,
Probably gonna die.
absolutely.
But anyways, again,
Any hoozle.
visitors today say that they can still hear his footsteps echoing on the staircase. William's footsteps. Slow, heavy steps, always stopping on the 17th stair. Guides who live in the property swear that no matter how many times they try to debunk it, the sound is real.
And the tragedies don't stop there. The Myrtles have seen deaths from yellow fever, the Civil War, countless accidents, In total, it's said to at least 10 ghosts inhabit the house. Guests have reported handprints on mirrors, children's voices whispering in the hallway, and antique chandeliers that sway on their own. Some say that grand piano in the parlor will start playing by itself, soft notes filling the air late at night, only to stop the moment someone enters the room.
Perhaps the most chilling reports are of children who stay overnight with their families. More than once, guests have woke up to find their children talking to someone who isn't there. When asked, the children often describe the same thing: a little girl in old-fashioned clothing who wants to play. So it's like double haunted.
Right. And like the piano late at night, that would just freak me out.
Right.
And I can't even play piano.
No. And kind of for my story in the first one, just children talking to someone that isn't there.
Right. Yeah, screw that.
Freaky.
So the Myrtles have embraced its haunted reputation. Offering ghost tours at night, many visitors come skeptically, expecting a little more than a good story. But even those skeptics often leave with their minds changed. One man reported taking pictures in the mirror line hallway, only to find his photos the faint reflection of a woman in a period dress behind him. Though he had been completely alone, others have left in the middle of the night too unsettled to stay until the morning.
To this day, no one can say for sure what lingers at the Myrtles. Is it Chloe? Still tied to the house by guilt and betrayal? Is it William Winter, forever frozen on the 17th step? Or is it something older, something born from the land itself, long before the plantation was ever built?
So, what's certain is this. The Myrtles Plantation isn't just a beautiful southern home. It's a place where history refuses to stay buried, where the past bleeds into the present. And if you ever visit, especially on a quiet night, you might just hear the echoes of footsteps on the stairs, or feel the gaze of eyes that haven't seen the light in more than 100 years.
So if you're brave enough to wander the halls of the Myrtles, remember you're not walking alone.
You know, I gotta say,
Yep.
I kind of want to go,
Right.
to be honest with you.
And at the same time, like, I think it's a perfect story for our podcast, because and for a few different reasons. In a way, it explains the purpose of what was that,
Right.
in a few different ways. You don't know whether it's Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know whether it's William. You don't know whether it's something from before the plantation was even there. So it's literally, what was that? Because then it could be three different things. Or it's just, you still don't even know. I mean, there's people trying to debunk it. There's everything else, but it still just leaves everyone that even goes there with, what was that?
Right. And my question is, like, what's keeping them there? Like, why won't they leave? Well, I can understand, like, with William, being shot and just killed cold-blooded like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I believe that when someone dies unexpectedly like that, it kind of gives them that lingering, like,
Right.
they're still here because they're trying to figure out, like, the purpose or why he was dead or anything like that.
Right.
But with Chloe, she was murdered because of what she did, or hung because of what she did.
All right.
So why does she stick around?
And I mean, well, because in a way, I mean, there's the unexpectedly, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's also those where, those other stories where if they were tortured or it was more of a traumatic experience where, her ear was cut off.
Right.
She was basically just doing whatever they said.
Mm-hmm.
She had to do whatever they said and couldn't act out or anything against that because then her ear got cut off. She had to wear a turban. And then she got hung for other things that she did, or they claim that she did, allegedly. And so it's like, but my biggest thing with the whole thing, with the whole Myrtles Plantation, is don't die there. If you visit it, don't die there, because you're probably just going to join Chloe and William, and who knows who else from before the plantation was there, if they think that it's something with that. Or
it's like if it was built on top of an Indian burial ground, that'll stir up a lot of like activity in just in the house alone.
Yeah.
And it may not always be like the most friendliest activity, like a chandelier swaying. It could be the chandelier falling on you.
No. Or that 17th step falling through. Or
busting your face on the 19th.
Yeah. We don't know how big of a guy William Winter was.
So, quick fact about a haunting back in the 1800s. So in the mid-1800s, photographers like William H. Mulmer became famous for creating spirit photographs. People believed that they could see dead relatives appearing in the portraits. So even Mary Todd Lincoln sat for one of those pictures, and supposedly showing Abraham Lincoln's ghost behind her.
That's kind of weird. Like, yeah, I want you to take my picture just to see if, whatever, Aunt, whoever she may be, is standing behind me.
Right. See, it sounds cool. Like, if taking a picture with a loved one, awesome. What if the loved one doesn't show up? What if someone else shows up?
It's like they blessed their camera with a Ouija board. Blessed. I don't know if that'd be the right word. But
blessed and Ouija board in the same sentence, but shouldn't go together.
Yeah. So this is a few haunting facts part of this, and so that's number one, and we have number two, which is about seances and spirit rapping.
Spirit rapping?
Yeah, not like wrapping a Christmas present, but like
Tupac's death.
Slim Shady. Something like that. So, the spiritualism movement exploded in the 1840s after the Fox sisters in New York claimed they could communicate with the dead through mysterious knocking sounds. That's not very mysterious, but you get the point. Their seances drew massive crowds and inspired decades of ghost mediums across the U.S. and Europe.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
But by knocking sounds? Or would it be more like a beat? Like them kind of like...
Yeah, maybe like a beat, or... I don't know, because normally, to reference like movies or anything like that again, you hear seances and it's usually some kind of certain like ritual,
right?
But it's usually seems more of some kind of reading or chant or song, or like not even a song, but like a chant. So I don't know. Like, and that's what I mentioned, Ouija boards. It's almost like there's always been kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it's not for anyone that's argumentative, but to me, it almost seems like a seance is not the same, but the same. So same, but different.
Right.
Where you're putting a Ouija board down, you're trying to get something, you're trying to get an answer, you're trying to get some kind of reaction out of spirits or seances. You're kind of doing the same thing.
Well, like at least from what I kind of know about them, that the seances, like when you're doing it, you're trying to connect to the ghost or spirit that's in the home or the area that you're in. And with Ouija boards, they will connect to some type of object in the room.
Right.
So let's say if you had like a old, like for example, I had one of my buddies used to have a Ouija board, and him and some of his buddies got together, and his brother and stuff, and they got together and was playing with the Ouija board. It must have connected to an old revolver from, I think it was like World War I or something like that. And they were talking to what believed was either a soldier or a general or whatever. But that may not always be the case. It could be something completely evil.
Right.
Like if you have, that old revolver, you could be talking to a murderer who used the gun. It could just be, it's just completely random.
Yeah.
And that's what Ouija boards is. It's random because you're not really trying to connect to whatever's there. It's just you're opening up a portal for anything to come to talk to you.
All right. That makes sense.
So,
Big brain.
What?
Big brain.
So, fact number 3: morning jewelry with hair of the dead.
That sounds weird already.
And so during the Victorian era, it was common to keep a piece of the deceased, often a lock of hair, woven into the brooches, rings, or necklaces. Many believe this carried part of the loved one's spirit, serving as a supernatural link between the living and the dead. I don't know if I can do that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, in today's, in recent times, I guess it's just to me, it sounds like a long way of saying something sentimental.
Right.
Like you keep something of someone that passed away that means something to you.
Right. Like a memorabilia.
Yeah, where it just keeps at least that little bit of closeness to them or whatever. That's kind of cool, though. I mean, a lock of hair, I don't know about, I mean, it says a piece of the deceased.
Like,
I'm going to chop off this arm right here.
It's like, no, he had a good arm.
Yeah.
But, like, I can understand, like, if you got cremated and you put, like, some of the ashes in, like, a small thing for a necklace and carrying that around. I can see that happening because my mom has that.
Right.
But, like, using a piece of someone, and it says often a lock of hair. What's the other not often parts?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Chop.
Say, just holding his hand, that'd freak me out.
Yeah.
If I walk in someone's house, anywhere, and they're just holding someone's hand that died years ago, I'm leaving. I'm leaving immediately.
I mean, unless, like, piece of the deceased off in a lock of hair, maybe the other piece could be a ring, a necklace,
right.
Whatever, some kind of belonging to them, but I don't know how that would have been back in the day. Victorian era, I don't know.
Right.
But, so fact number 4, which is a little bit more widely known, but is ghost ships. So the 1800s were full of sea legends, but one stands out, the Flying Dutchman. Their sightings, sailors reported a phantom ship glowing in the mist, considered a bad omen of disaster. Even Prince George of Wales later King George V, claimed to have seen it in 1881.
Yeah, actually, I'd kind of like to see that.
Yeah.
Like, probably not in person,
Right.
but like if someone videoed it happening, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, they've always tried to base it on a real thing, which I'm sure possibly could be, but movies, shows, anything really that's ever mentioned anything of the Flying Dutchman.
Like SpongeBob.
Like SpongeBob. Like, Pirates of the Caribbean movie? Something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, they had one of their ships, like it kind of flipped upside down under the water, and there was like a whole other realm where all like the crew was dead and everything, like zombies.
Well, and there was the guy with the like weird tentacle type head that they claimed to have been that one guy underwater that works the Flying Dutchman, sails it.
I have no idea.
Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Davy Jones' locker.
Yep.
Is the one that, or something like that. But, typically it's made out to be a thing where, like, if you've seen the Flying Dutchman, see you later. Peace out, Girl Scout.
You going in the locker.
Yeah. Pretty much. So.
Right. Either way, if someone has a video of the Flying Dutchman ship,
share it.
Send it. I want to see it. But our fifth and final fact of the night. The Bell Witch Haunting. So from 1817 to 1821 in Tennessee, the Bell family claimed to have been tormented by a violent spirit. It spoke aloud, moved objects, and even physically attacked members of the household. Andrew Jackson, before becoming president, reportedly visited the farm and left saying, "I would rather face the entire British Army than the Bell Witch."
Yeah.
That reminds me of like the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was real, but like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
That was a creepy movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in that they claim, which I mean, I know there's a lot of claims on everything, but they claim is based on true story, and I mean, however much of it is factual, nobody really knows. But and that's kind of like how we talked, last week or the week before about you don't really know.
Yeah,
but. If it is true, I mean, I'm glad I didn't have to experience it. But if no one did experience it, we wouldn't know.
that's true. So I'm glad you experienced it.
And I'm sorry that you experienced it.
But if you experience it again, that's not saying Andrew Jackson, because I know he's not here anymore. But if anyone else, goes to that farm or the house and has that experience, thank you for having it.
Yeah.
Sorry for you having it. But when you're done having it, send it to us. Let us know about it. And speaking of experiences, this is a story from one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Didn't want to give his name, so he sent in a story, a couple stories of his experience in his own home. So the first story. I went down to his basement because he heard some noises coming from down there. So he went down there armed. Searched everywhere, even the crawl spaces, and didn't see anything as I walked past the shelves, the stairs, and he goes back up. He hears someone say, "Howdy, partner." Scared of death. I'd be scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just by saying, "Howdy, partner."
Right.
If I'm anywhere alone, in the dark, even with a gun, and someone just says, "Howdy, partner," I'm gone. I am gone. So he hears Howdy Partner, and he almost shot the singing bear rug his dad gave him when he moved out of his old house. So he says, I laugh, take it upstairs to take the batteries out of there, but there was no screw or batteries.
So
the bear is the one that said Howdy Partner. Right?
That's what I'm gathering. But if it was something separate saying Howdy Partner, and then I'm still kind of stuck back on the singing bear rug part, because bear rugs are expensive enough as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got one that's singing too,
that's pretty penny.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, if there's no screws, no batteries, the cover, I'm assuming, for the batteries was just off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a dark, creepy basement and just hear something talking. And like, Howdy Partner. It almost reminds me of like a
Toy Story?
Toy Story or some kind of Western. So, I mean, maybe kind of like, give or take, maybe in a way, how we were just talking about, like with seances and Ouija boards and objects and, you know, specific areas. But in this case, I mean, if it was something that, from Western days type thing, and that's what it attached to, was an old, I mean, I don't know if it was like a actual bear. I would assume it's, someone went bear hunting, shot a bear,
right,
had a rug made, put a music box in it or something, I don't know. But if it was at one point an actual real bear, then maybe it could have connected to that.
And that makes sense because, Margot, from our first couple episodes, we've had that thing in the house for years. Never made a sound. It never worked. And my daughter just used it as a baby doll, a normal baby doll. And then out of the blue, it just started working. We've never replaced the batteries in it, nothing. And it just started working. So that's why she made a special appearance.
Well, she was too distracting.
Yes.
With her odd, creepy noises. So she might make some other appearances in the future for an episode here or there, but
yep.
Margot is distracting. So our viewer sent us that story about the bear rug, Howdy Partner, and we could totally understand how you'd question what was that.
Right.
So they also sent us in another story saying that his daughter came running down the stairs, white as a ghost, saying there was a man in her room. So he went up, armed again, which I like this guy. He's smart about it.
Right.
I'd go armed.
Yeah. My daughter came in the room saying that there's a man in her bedroom.
Yeah.
That man ain't leaving.
So he seen something dart into her room. So he ran up and searched her room, flipping everything, the bed, the dresser, and seen nothing. And then he heard something come from her closet. He swung the door open, and this white figure flies out at his face. And he says, "Thank God when I raised my gun, I didn't fire." She had a white hoodie and unicorn mask hanging on the back of her door. And he just kind of laughed it off and started walking away. And then him and his daughter had a nice laugh about it. So, but even still, like, I don't know. That's for it to come from, there's a man in her room to it just being a hoodie and a unicorn thing in her closet.
Mm.
Like,
But he also said that when he was after they left and start walking away, that they both of them hear a little giggle like coming from a kid.
nah,
That's freaky.
yeah. So it goes from a man. I'm sorry, I understood that a little bit wrong. I thought they said they giggled like little kids, but for it to be a sound of like a kid giggling,
Mm.
and that seems so common too. I
Yeah.
mean, with our first couple stories, like it always seems like it's some kind of, whether it be a mom and a kid or just a kid or kids laughing, or and now it's a man in her room, a hoodie and a unicorn mask, and then it switched to kids giggling. So, like, it's almost like it's
And that kind of brings me back to, I think it was like, what was it, the first or second episode when I was talking about the demon,
mhm,
how they kind of present themselves as something innocent to get you a
Right.
little bit more comfortable, and they can attach themselves to you. Maybe the man that his daughter saw was like, his true figure, or
mhm,
this spirit's true figure, and then noticed dad coming up,
right,
kind of went away,
yeah,
and then basically turned themselves back into kid form.
right, yeah. Because I mean, I'm sure there's things out there that can, spirits or ghosts or whatever that, they could even, if the white hoodie and the mask could have been distraction
Mm.
while something else was going on, and then that transformation from a man to a kid giggling. But I don't know. I mean, it kind of ends there, so I don't know. I wonder if he has any like further detail
Right.
of what happened after the kid giggling or anything like that.
Mm. So yeah, I mean, if you have more of experiences like that, feel free to send them in, and we'll go through them with you. So, and if after we do this too, I mean, if there's like an update after that, did it keep happening? Did it stop happening? Just let us know as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. So we're starting to run towards the end of our time for this episode. So we just kind of want to go over. I mean, we got Chloe and William Winter,
And possibly
little-
8 other spirits residing in that home.
right? And even from before the plantation was there,
Mm-hmm.
and multiple questions of what was that.
Yeah.
I mean, in the whole story, it's like, you never know. Wherever you're at, whenever you're at,
Yeah.
you don't know.
And it's crazy too, because like you can go into these places, like the Myrtles Plantation or any other haunted house, really, and people can tell you in detail, this spirit is haunting this house. This is what this spirit does. I can do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. But when that fear hits you for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
you have no idea what happened. You're thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, what was that? Oh my God, what was that?"
All right.
Shut up. You know what was that?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's still always the question because you don't. Sometimes you just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, you just don't really. Sometimes you don't know. There isn't an answer, and that's okay. But
Yeah, and sometimes the scariest things are the things you don't know.
Yeah. And even with some of our facts, we go into these facts that I don't know. I think would be a cool thing to keep finding cool ones that maybe a lot of people don't know about, but also the popular ones like the Flying Dutchman.
Mm.
I'm sure there's some people out there that maybe they've never heard of it. Maybe they don't watch a lot of movies or listen to a lot of informational or scary stuff like that. Because, I mean, let's be honest, some people just don't like, they don't like horror movies. They don't like scary books. They don't like anything that's remotely scary.
Yep.
So, but for all you know, you could be out on your boat one day and Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of the lake or the ocean or wherever would be the most popular place to. I mean, I don't know. Bermuda Triangle. I don't know.
Right.
But and even that.
And
so,
like one of the facts that I found the most interesting was the spirit photos. Like photographers specialized in taking photos of the dead.
mm-hmm.
Well, not really of the dead, but pictures with people who are alive that
Right.
show the dead. Like that is actually super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I said, it's so unpredictable. Like how can someone get that photo? Like how many takes do they got to get before they actually get the person they're wanting to see?
So, because I get you there and what I think of that is like how do you? I mean, that was back in the day.
Yeah,
that was back before. I mean, possibly before computers, editing. I mean, well, maybe there's cameras.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't like there was no AI then, or there was
right.
no
You
high tech stuff.
Photoshop a ghostly figure into the background, and I mean, even if the light, but it seemed like it was more of a, like it wasn't a, you go to this place type thing. Yeah, I heard that too.
Scared the crap.
What the hell was that? Like it was a, I don't know, not to diminish or anything, but like in a way a street performer type thing.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh hey, take your picture with me. One of your dead relatives or something might be standing behind you.
Mm.
So, but it makes me wonder how many people was like, okay, yeah, take my picture. And was it more times than not that there was something in the background? Because, I mean, that right there, I feel like would have to be like proof of ghosts, of spirits, of even hauntings. Like,
and the thing is too, like you can still kind of do that now with like digital cameras and everything, but they don't show up like full figures like this guy was taken.
Yeah.
They just show up as like a white misty glare in the photo. Sometimes you might see like a shadowy figure,
right?
But to get the actual photo of this person.
So, yeah, I mean the facts I think are a cool little addition.
Yeah.
To because even if it's just kind of wide open, it's something that you don't know. I mean, even if it is popular, like Flying Dutchman,
right?
It's still open. There's still so much that could be, would be, maybe even should be.
Yeah.
Of what was that? Of who knows? Just anything you come up with. I mean, and like the pictures, they're anything that really makes you wonder.
And it's not always going to be about the paranormal stuff or like spiritual stuff. It could be extraterrestrial. You see a UFO or UAP? You see an alien? Did you see Bigfoot? Did you see Dogman, Mothman?
Yeah. And I mean, that's even, we're expanded or expanding as well into like disappearance stuff, even if it isn't, based on, it could have been Bigfoot. I mean, that
Right.
could be why that dude disappeared, because Bigfoot ate him. He fell into one of his traps, ate. Done. Bye. See ya.
Adios.
But there's also just disappearances. Just whatever happened. Nobody still knows. Cold cases,
Yeah.
different types of things. And, even it could end up into the serial killer type stories and different things like that. So I think that brings us to kind of what our next episode is going to be.
Yeah.
Of the Solder Son's disappearance.
Some more of your own personal stories, experiences.
And just for you guys, we'll find a few more facts to share and talk about and wonder.
Yeah. So if you're interested in hearing some stories from listeners and viewers, depending on where you're listening or watching the podcast, want to hear some interesting facts and want to know more about the Sider Son's disappearance, make sure to follow on all platforms, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Like it and subscribe.
Yep. And we also expanded audio versions to Amazon, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and
there's a couple more.
There's a couple more. The list is in the link tree.
Yeah, they're not very. Those ones aren't very widely known, I guess, or not as like big named as the other ones. But you'll find us there.
Yep. So send in your stories,
please.
We're mostly begging because
we're begging.
It's what keeps us being able to. I mean, there's always obviously the disappearance stories and other a little bit more well-known stories,
right?
But what makes it worth telling is your actual real your story.
Yeah,
your stuff. So because it's real, it's 100% real to us. It's as real as you can get, as personal as you can get.
Yep.
So send in your stories. We need them.
Yep. And even the little details of the story mattered.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, oh yeah, I walked into my room and there was a ghost standing there or a figure standing there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's creepy. But if you would have said, yeah, it was probably around like 2 a.m. I just got back from a long day at work. Like that stuff matters because we've been there.
Yeah.
There's other people that have gotten off late at work, thought they seen something and brush it off, but if it was just you, yeah, it could have been nothing. Just brush it off. Your eyes playing tricks on you, but
right.
You never know. There could be 1,000 other people had a similar experience.
No.
And they just don't want to say nothing because they think they were the only ones that just brush it off.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, some of it could be like, I don't want to necessarily say traumatic, but I guess it probably could be the word for it.
Right.
Some of it scares the shit out of people. Like it just, they don't want to think about it. They don't want to tell it. But, and that's what we can't stress enough is it's a safe place to tell it. If that would even make you feel better. Accepting it, talking about it to help you move on from it.
Yep.
Whether, again, you stay anonymous, you give a nickname, or you tell it as your own story. You want us to say, hey, Bob, your name is Bob, and Bob wants everybody to know.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah. So,
I think we'll that's going to be it for the night. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching and listening and being a part of this eerie, goosebump, and creepy filled adventure of ours.
Yeah.
So,
Have fun.
we'll see you next time, guys.
Stay creeped out.
Stay creeped out. See you next time.